Just want to welcome everyone to our Wellness Wednesday sessions, where we invite teachers from around the world. But now on Wednesdays, we invite teachers actually mostly in Sydney to come and give Dharma talks and provide meditation guidance for us. And today we have Ayya Upekkha with us in person. She has kindly travelled afar since 8 a.m. this morning to be here and give us teaching, so we're so grateful for that. And the topic that she's going to be talking about is, do you believe in rebirth? What evidence is there to prove rebirth? You know, does evidence disprove rebirth? Should we believe in rebirth? Does the question even matter? So if you're curious about any of these questions, today would be a great session for you. So a little bit about Ayya Upekkha. She was born in Sri Lanka in 1974 and grew up in various parts of the world before her family settled down in Perth, Australia. If that wasn't enough traveling, at 23 she quit her job in the financial industry to go seeking in India for the truth. Her journey took her through marriage and long retreats with her Irish husband, who also later ordained as a monk. Finally, at the age of 35, she returned to Perth, where her spiritual journey started. She joined Dhammasara Monastery, a Theravada monastery for Buddhist nuns under the auspices of Ajahn Brahm in 2009 and has been part of that community since then. Ayya Upekkha ordained in 2011 and took bhikkhuni ordination in 2014. As always, we like our sessions to be interactive, so if you have questions, feel free to, for those online, feel free to post them in the chat. Or you can put your virtual hand up if you wish to ask your question by speaking. And for those in person, you can just put your actual hand up. And so like the questions will be welcomed anytime or at a specific time. It's like whenever. Anytime. So I'll just let you know when someone has a question and so on. Cool. And without further ado, I'll pass over to Ayya.
Right. The microphone is an old-fashioned laptop. So, good evening, everyone, and welcome to our Wellness Wednesdays, where you can have a bit of a break and have a bit of wellness infused into your busy lives. I live in the forest, and coming out to Sydney is always a bit of a shell shock. All right, so perhaps we'll start with a bit of meditation, and I hope everyone's ready to relax. Oh. Okay, all right, so we dim the lights here. You can dim the lights as well in your room. So much nicer, as long as you don't fall asleep as well. All right, so just close our eyes. And just allow ourselves to relax. For the next few 20 minutes or so, you have permission to switch off your brain. Permission to withdraw from the world. And permission to just be with yourself. Having no responsibilities, nothing to do, nowhere to go. So bringing your mind inward, just taking a few deep breaths in and out. In and out. Letting everything out as you breathe out. Breathing in and breathing everything out. And just becoming aware of your body. From your head down to your feet, your whole body, letting it relax, letting the muscles unwind, letting the tension out, and letting yourself breathe. Noticing your breath coming in and going out. Like a child asleep on their mother's lap.
Ven Upekkha, Ramanige dua.
bringing your mind back if it's wandered away, back to just being aware of your breathing. Nothing to figure out, nothing to think about. Just to know that you are here, aware of your breath. Bringing your mind back to just the simplicity, going in and out. Letting yourself relax. Letting yourself slow down. If it's difficult to keep your mind on your breathing, you can just be aware of just the feelings on your body, feeling the sensation, the feeling of just being here. Bringing your mind back if it's wandered away. So the last few moments of the meditation, just being with your body and your breath and your mind, and wishing yourself well. May I be free from any illness, any dissatisfaction. May I be at ease. May I be well and happy. And really being grateful for yourself. Grateful for being alive. Grateful to be here. And just like me, may those who I love, those who I meet every day, may they too find peace and ease in their life. May they too be well. May they too be happy. And so the whole world, and finally the whole world. May all beings in places of difficulty, in hardship, may they too be at ease and at peace. Appreciating the feeling of well-being in your heart and your mind. And then slowly coming back into the room that you're in. And when you're ready, you can slowly open your eyes. Okay. Well, at the very least, I hope you're feeling a little bit more relaxed. Ready to sleep. Maybe that's what you need. A good nap. After a long day's work. Yeah. Sometimes that's all we need. A good nap. But anyway, let's talk about rebirth instead. And stimulate our minds for a little bit. All right. All right. Okay, well, I thought of this topic because the last time I was here, we talked about death. Pretty morbid. And I've closely related to the topic of death is, that's much better. Yeah. Much better. There's only like 5 people. To have them all in the same direction is good. Thought so. Yeah, and I've been something that often comes up in the monastery when people come to see us is whether I'm always interested if people believe in rebirth and what people know about rebirth. Do they believe it exists? Do you think it's, why do we even care if there's rebirth? Is it important? I mean, what does it matter? So yes, I thought that would be a good place to start. Whether people online or here, do you believe in rebirth? Who believes it? Yes, okay, there's Becky, there's a couple of nods. Hard to tell when everybody's just sort of... Oh, good, there's a bit of a chat. Yeah. Who doesn't believe in rebirth? It's hard to tell, isn't it? Okay. There's a lot of believers. Oh, good. I can see more people's faces. So you can see nods or. Okay, let's assume it's 50% who believe. I don't disbelieve. There you go. Thank you. It's a belief, not my experience. Okay, great. I'm glad I'm getting some responses. Yeah, anyone else? Okay, some people, it's just a belief. True. Who doesn't believe in rebirth? Oh, well, they're all Buddhists, I guess, who come to this kind of thing. So I'm speaking to the converted.
Charlotte said, I'm still researching my position.
Oh, right. Okay, good, good. Makes sense. Feels both intuitive and logical. Right. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Intuitive and logical. What else is there? Hmm.
I've heard stories of kids remembering their previous births. There have been stories in Sri
Right.
Lanka, so that kind of makes you believe.
Right, right. Yes, there's in Sri Lanka you hear, a child talking about, well, there was Dhammaruan who could chant entire suttas off by heart. That's another story. Anyway, we'll get to that. Yeah. Yeah, so okay, so some people believe, most of us do believe in rebirth because we're all Buddhists and we're here because we like this. And what I wanted to talk about today was, why why it is important to reflect on this. What did the Buddha talk about? And yes, how to bring it into our lives, how reflecting on it is useful for us in our lives. So yes, so to begin with, rebirth is actually one of the fundamental tenets of Buddhism. In this modern secular Buddhist age, it seems that a lot of Buddhists don't actually believe that there is rebirth, and they don't think that it matters. For most people, it doesn't matter. I'm going to be a good person anyway. So, well, what happens when I die? Well, I'll leave it to what happens. I don't know whether I'm going to die or what happens when I die, but I'll just live a good life, and that's the best. That's good enough. So that's what most people, kind of Buddhist or not, like to just play safe. I'm good enough. But in the Buddha, if he wanted to be just good enough and do the right thing and just and lead a comfortable life, he would have stayed in his palace, wouldn't he? He would have been a very nice king. He had a lovely family. He was a very kind and generous person. He could have ruled his kingdom and looked after his people and been really a very good king. But he didn't. He actually left all of that. He left his family. It's a pretty incredible sacrifice, because he was looking for the end of rebirth. If he thought it was just one life, he could kind of manage quite well, be a nice guy. But no, he was looking for something else. And in fact, at his moment of enlightenment, there is what he realized were the three insight knowledges, te vijja, three. So, at his moment of te vijja, three knowledges that was his sort of great realization. One of it was that he saw his past lives. He saw manifold past lives. Oh, come in, Ruini, come in. Just in time, you missed it, all the boring bits. That's what Panthi says. Yes, so yeah, one of his insights was that seeing all his past lives. And a second of his insights was he could see the working of other people being born and dying, and he could see what caused them to be born and die, born and die, born and die. So that's quite interesting. And the third of his insights was that he had realized the destruction of the taints. He had come to the end of rebirth. So you could say that was his purpose. That was his purpose. And so this, as Buddhists, it's something not to take lightly. It's not something to kind of go like, oh, well, it doesn't matter if I'm going to be born or not. This is like the thing that the Buddha realized at his enlightenment, that he could see his past lives. He could see over and over and over and over again. This was his name, this was his clan, this was his parents, this was his nutriment, whatever it is. This is how he lived over and over again. This is one of his greatest insights. And right view in Buddhists, as Buddhists, right view is also believing in karma and also rebirth. If you want to practice the Buddhist path, it starts with the right view, and right view is belief in rebirth. So it's not to be taken lightly, even though we don't kind of put it in our everyday consciousness. Rebirth is part of sort of the most basic realizations of the Buddha. What does this mean in our lives? What does this mean in our lives? So, yes. Okay, let me put it this way. If you knew that when you died, you are going to be born again, and you're going to do the same things that you're doing now again, if you're lucky, you're a human being, and then you're going to die, and then you're going to be born again, and then you're going to go to school again, and you're going to get married again, and you're going to bring up a family again, and then you're going to grow old again, and then you're going to die again, and then you're going to be born again after that, if you're lucky, and then you're going to go to school again. Yes, if you knew this was going to be the case, or at least had a belief, how would you be leading this life? What would you be doing with your life? What would be important? So the Buddha actually talked about this human life that we have is extremely precious. I don't know if you've heard the simile of the turtle in roaming, the simile of the turtle putting his head through the yoke of this kind of this tire. Have you heard the simile? You've heard the simile. Let me tell you the simile. So, to be born a human being is as likely as someone throws a noose, kind of a tire, into the ocean, and this noose, this tire floats around, in the vast oceans. And every 100 years, this turtle comes up for air and, comes up to breathe. And the chances of him putting his head through this tire floating around in the ocean is the chances of us being born a human being. So how possible is that? It's pretty rare, isn't it?
I think you forgot to say that the turtle is also one-eyed.
Oh, right.
So
Oh my gosh.
it has to be
A
the
one-eyed
and the
turtle.
one-eye, yeah, has to
Okay,
be
thank
matched
you.
as well.
Okay,
That's
so
how
it's a
it is.
one-eyed turtle coming up every 100 years to put his head through a tire is pretty rare. So to be born a human being, to be sitting here right now, is an incredibly rare chance in samsara. So this is one of the things that we have to remember when we are to be sitting here right now as a human being, and to be able to, this is the other thing, to be able to come across the Buddha's teaching and to be able to understand it is even rarer, to there are, as you know, the world expands and contracts, and that is like an aeon. An aeon is also supposed to be an extraordinary amount of time, where the time that it takes for a bird to brush a silk handkerchief over a mountain, for the time that mountain takes to wear down, is the time for an aeon to come and go. So in that aeon, often there is only one Buddha. Sometimes this particular aeon, there's meant to have been 5 Buddhas, but basically sometimes there's only one aeon, one Buddha. And so to come across the teachings of the Buddha is also incredibly rare. So here we are as human beings, hearing the word of the Buddha. What are you going to do with your time? What is important in your life? So for most people who believe in you only live once, YOLO, you only live once, life is mostly about, as long as I have a reasonably, I have a reasonably good job, I can have, my family is all right, I've got a good house, I'm helping people, I'm generally, a generally good person. For most people, that's enough, isn't it? Isn't that what most people? I mean, I come out to Sydney and I will come out through the train. For most people, that's all they want. That's all anyone really aspires to. Bit of comfort, a holiday here and there, hang out with your friends, don't have too many problems in life, then you've succeeded. But if you knew that you were going, this opportunity to be a human being and to hear the Dhamma was so rare, would you be doing those same things? Would you be just happy to, get to work, get the job done, make sure the people around you are all right, go to bed without too much of a headache? Would you be doing those very same things? So yeah, one thing that I was listening to some Tibetan teachings, and they have these 4 reflections that is considered like the fundamental sort of foundation for your practices, a foundational practice. So you think the foundation practice is like, anapanasati or something like that, or walking meditation or something like that. No, the foundation practice is four of them. The first of that is reflecting on the rarity of this human existence. Oh, I have questions. No.
I have a question.
You have a question? Okay, let me just finish this. Okay, right. Okay, so the first of those foundation practices is to reflect on the rarity of this human existence. So yeah, and a second one of that is to reflect on that. There is impermanence. Things don't actually last forever. Sometimes things are good, and believe it or not, sometimes things are bad. Things don't always work out the way we want it to. And a third foundational practice is to know that there is karma, that your actions have consequences. Yes, and the last of that is to know that there is samsara. There is samsara, the birth and death. It goes on and on and on. And there are faults. It doesn't always work out happily ever after. So those are, interestingly enough, the foundation practices. And something to reflect on, we wake up in the morning and we're happy to we're happy to just, get up and go kind of thing. But can we reflect on these things when we get up in the morning? I'm a human being, Here I am, alive, a human being. Just to reflect on that. What am I going to do with my day? Yes, this is a precious opportunity. So I actually, I'll just pause here for now. That's a lot of stuff in one go. But yes, we had questions, and we'll just pause for a minute and see what anyone has to say. Okay. Question. Being born a human being is rare, like a turtle putting his head into a tire. But there are 8 billion people on earth. That's a very high number of humans, and doesn't seem to be that rare, number-wise at least. Good point. But do you know how many insects, how many ants there are, how many snakes there are in the bush, how many moths, how many sandflies? The thing is, you're not always a human being. Being reborn is not always into the human birth. Being reborn means you can be born into any type of existence, from an insect all the way to a heavenly being. That's a lot. When you look out of your window, how many ants? Never mind, look out of your window. Can you just imagine the number of ants just in this building? Bacteria, viruses. Yes, I don't think bacteria and viruses are actually. I'm interesting. I don't know about bacteria and viruses, but definitely ants. You may be reborn an ant. Apparently, the Buddha smiled once at Ananda when he saw a row of ants going past. He smiled, and Ananda asked, "Why are you not smiling?" He had sort of this knowing look. He asked the Buddha, "Why do you have this? Why are you looking at this row of ants?" He said, "There is not one of them that has not been in a heavenly realm." Yeah, so things go up and definitely things go down. It is no guarantee where you will end up. Yes, Nilu, question to ask.
Hi, Venerable. I was um, I was wondering about that simile about the turtle. It's very confronting. And I just wondered if, if you're already born a human being, does that then apply, or because you're born a human being, you have those human inclinations, isn't the probability far more that you'll be reborn as a human rather than that unlikely that you would be reborn as a human?
Well, I'd like to think so. But if it was that straightforward, then the Buddha wouldn't have had to become enlightened. But I think you can be all types of human beings as well. You can be born into a lovely Buddhist family, hear the Dhamma, and go to a Buddhist school, live in, and then mess it all up. So just because you are a human being, it doesn't mean you use your potential. You can, as I know a lot of Buddhists who don't use their potential and just flit it away and lead immoral lives even, or lead lives that are just very, I guess, superficial. And if you don't cultivate your mind towards that sort of a higher level, you just, you know, yeah, you are reborn into what you're inclined towards. And so perhaps if you have cultivated your mind in this life in a good way, then higher chances that you will be born in a nice place. But it is not guaranteed. Another simile that the Buddha had was of the stick being thrown up into the air. A stick being thrown up into the air, one side is heavier and one side is light. The heavy side is your karma, whatever karma that you have done is the heavier side. And it will most likely land the heavier side down, but not always. It could be, there is a chance that it flips the other way. So, chances are whatever karma that you have done is the heavy side, it'll land down that way, but there's always the lighter side as well. So, yes. Does that answer your question, Nilu? Yeah, she's stuck.
She's
unmuted. She's saying things.
Okay, now I wasn't allowed to speak. Thank you, Venerable. Yes, I think so. Would you agree, though, that if you are already a human, yes, there's, it doesn't necessarily mean that you practice well or anything in a future life, but that you're more inclined to be a human than that simile suggests? Because that simile applies to all beings, right? Not just...
You are more inclined. You are more inclined.
But it's still no guarantee. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Can you hear Ruini?
I won't be able to hear.
No, okay. I will repeat your question.
I'm just thinking, even as we practice, like as we are now, but we might face a really difficult situation and we might do something bad. So I think that can define, because there's a consequence. There's every day depends on what we do.
Right.
So even when we might be on in a good path or whatever, but there's still challenging situations. And how we react might
Right.
And I'm also remembering, like, I don't know whether this is
Okay, well, let me just repeat what you said. Rini was just saying we might be on a good path, but some situation might occur, a challenging situation, and you might, you don't know how you'll react. You'd like to think that you do the right thing, but no, you could do something quite harmful. Yeah. Go on.
And also, what about the king Dhammasara wasn't, I don't know whether this is fact or story,
Yeah,
but
right.
where he had such a strong desire. I think that they said that when he passed away, he was born like an anaconda or something. Do you know?
Oh,
Because
right.
he had such a strong desire towards the end of his life.
Ah,
And there was a very brief period that he was like
a snake,
Yes.
kind of naga kind of a thing.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
then all the good karma came back. And
Right.
born somewhere else.
Right. Yeah, Rohini was just saying an example. There are others as well of King Butugamuno. Apparently, he had such a strong desire. The moment he died, he was reborn a kind of a naga, and then his other karma sort of took over, and then he was reborn as I guess, a better life after that. Yeah, all kinds of things can happen. Okay, Sinsin says, I heard someone said something like this. When we keep chipping a tree trunk from one angle, sooner or later it tends to fall in one direction. Similarly, if we keep practicing and moving in the right direction, hopefully we finally get there. I heard something like this from Ajahn Brahm or someone. Yes, absolutely. Then that's the point. That's the point. That we have to keep chipping in the right direction. We tend to forget, and we start sort of, falling asleep, forgetting to chip, taking a Coke and sitting down by the side of the tree and reading a magazine. Yeah, so I think the point of what I wanted to say is when we reflect on this, it reminds us to keep chipping in the right direction, and eventually we'll get there. So it's not that you have to fell the whole tree in one fell swoop, but remember to keep chipping. Thank you, Sinsin. Did we miss someone?
That was my comment.
That was your comment. Okay, then TH, is it true that the deeper we get into meditation and the jhanas, we see our past lives? Absolutely. The only way you can know for sure that you have been born again and again and again and again is when that truth strikes you in deep meditation, as the Buddha did. In fact, that is the cause for you to sort of turn away from the world, for you to become disillusioned, disenchanted when you see, oh my goodness, I have done this before again and again, and your mind is repulsed. So yes, it is the purpose of the jhanas to start to the Buddha says to turn your mind towards the Tevijas, the three knowledges of your past lives, of karma, and then the destruction of the taints. So yes, that is what you do. It is hopefully what you do. Then Ramani, that's my mom, says, almost all rebirth stories we hear are of human rebirths. Yes, true. I guess none of the dogs can come back and say, hi, I was your dad. Yeah. There are actually stories of I've heard this, unfortunately, yes, the family dog. I think it went something like there was some an inheritance, no, what's it called, something that had been buried. The father of the family had buried his jewels or whatever it is before he died, and the Buddha knew it was the dog because he asked the dog to please go and dig it up, and only the father knew where the jewels were buried. So, yes, that was...
The dad turned into the dog.
The dad turned into the dog. Yeah, that dad turned into the dog. Nilu, very scary to go from a deva to an ant. How does that happen? Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. As long as you're in samsara, you never know what you have. There's no guarantees of anything, no guarantees, except to keep chipping at the tree. Just keep chipping at the tree, as Sinsin said. Yes, and yes. So Shireen says, Venerable, would being reborn as a human or in another realm also depend on the state of your mind at the time of death? Absolutely. That's another whole topic that of your state of mind at the time of death. But basically, the state of mind at the time of death is how you have lived your whole life. So you cannot suddenly hope at your time of death to think of something absolutely fantastic when your whole life has been the opposite, right? So your moment of death is a reflection of your life. In fact, your whole life is a preparation for that moment of death. The right impetus takes. You have the right impetus for your next life. I have a lot of good stories, Ajahn Brahm stories of of. I hope you haven't heard Ajahn Brahm stories, but the man who named his sons Buddha Dhamma Sangha.
Oh, yes.
Yes, okay. Okay, great. I can. Ruin is shaking his head, so at least one person can tell the story. So there was this. He was a businessman, and he was a Vesak Buddhist. So, but he heard that the moment of death is what matters. Your thought at the moment of death is what matters. And he thought, gee, that's all I need to do. Work out my moment of death. Doesn't matter, I can still, being a happy businessman, go gambling and have another wife, 2 wives, whatever it is. But he had an idea. He thought, I know, I'll rename my 3 sons Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, so that when I die, they're sure to be at my bedside, so I'll see my 3 sons and I'll go, Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha. So, great idea. That's all what a strategy. So, and it all worked out. He came to his moment of death, and true enough, his 3 sons were there, holding their heads over their father. And he looked up and then he said, oh, Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha. Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha are here. Who's looking after the shop? And he died. Oh, it's such a good story. But yes, what you think about during your life is what is going to come up at your deathbed, however much you strategize. Yeah. Okay, Amy says, what is your recommendation to learn to practice the jhanas? Please, Venerable. Sorry, my camera is off as I have parental duties to learn the practice of jhanas. Oh my goodness. Wow. Where do you begin? It's not easy, is a start. Just as Sinsin says, start chipping away at the tree. The jhanas are the culmination of everything you do. Your sila, how you live your life, really focusing on developing your mind, throughout your day and shave off your head and move into a monastery. wear a brown robe, become a nun. Sorry about the parental duties. But yeah, it really just, like anything, it's just practice, practice, practice. So the more you practice something, the better you're going to get good at it. So it's nothing complicated. Just do it. Indira, maybe one does not go straight from the Deva realm to be an ant, but could be a process of the consciousness going down little by little. Yeah, I don't know if anyone has a comment on that, but um, there is a sutta where the Buddha says, you the devas going, my mother, I don't know, Amma, do you have any references from going from deva to ant in one fell swoop? It is the potential to go to the human realm when you leave the deva realm is there. Is not necessarily a stepwise thing. You can go from the deva realm to any place. Doesn't have to be a stepwise thing. Yeah, so it could be straight to an ant. I mean, why not?
Does that mean they've done something wrong in the Deva realm?
I think your karma just runs out. It's not that you've done wrong. It's just that you're also, maybe you don't have the potential to make good karma, so it runs out, and run out is run out. Yeah. Yes.
Can I say something about, actually, if I remember right, they were not devas, those ants. They were great
Chakravartis.
Chakravarti kings, the
They were
likes of Donald
Chakravartis.
Trump,
Yeah.
powerful kings. So it is very possible that can happen. I mean, kind of things that sometimes these powerful kings do. Hitler's, Donald Trump's, it's very possible that they lose it all.
Chakravartis. Chakravartis are sort of
All powerful.
all powerful.
Think Donald Trump.
Donald Trump's. I mean, be lucky to be an ant. Yeah, it's scary what will happen to him. Indira says, Noble Eightfold Path ends in jhana. Yes, practices the Noble Eightfold Path. Simple and profound. Yeah. Yes, yes.
I was also thinking, if you think of that dog Aloka, world famous, has everything, but it's still a dog. So there would be some karma at play there. He might have been a human being who did a lot of meritorious acts, but something that brought him down to the realm of the dog. But he had done a lot of good karma. He has all the comforts you can think of for a dog, and he's world famous.
Wonder if he's happy that he's world famous, or even if he knows that he's world famous. Yes, Rohini.
Similar, like how in Christianity, like you can be saved. Is there anything similar like that in Buddhism?
Rohini's like really fishing here. She was hoping that there's something like in Christianity where you can be saved. That somehow that you ask for forgiveness at your moment of death, and God will just sort of pull you up into heaven, and then there you will rest for the rest of your days. Sorry, Rohini.
How like in Christianity they say that only like people who believe in God and Jesus will go in the right way.
Right.
Like say if somebody at the end of their life like, starts to practice Buddhism and stuff like that too. I mean, just the belief in the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, does that do anything? This is just, I'm just questioning.
Fishing.
I'm just trying to see whether there are similar concepts.
Okay, right. Ruini asks that just like in Christianity, that you believe in, if you believe in Jesus and that you, believe in God, that you will somehow be saved, however you have lived your whole life. And is there something similar in Buddhism, that if you believed in Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, that somehow, you'll be redeemed in some way? Yeah, good question. Good question. What do people think? Do you think there's a nice little shortcut? Yes,
I think that's
Sophie.
possible because
Yeah.
the power of faith itself is a good karma. So if you cultivate wholesome intentions and wholesome karma, kind of happiness when you hear about the Dharma, happiness to see the Buddha, and that will lead you to be closer to that in your future lives.
Yeah.
And we met Paul Part, and it's said that he sees everyone he meets, and then he tries to remember their face. He actually remembers everyone's face that he meets, and then so at the time of your death, he will try to help you. So, but that's also a karmic condition or result of your good karma. You have to have good karma to meet teachers like that. But I think there is power in faith. But it's not outside of causes and conditions. You have to be in the causes and conditions.
Right. So you can't just sort of start believing the Buddha. She said, as Sophia said, it's that joy that comes from thinking of the Buddha's qualities, and that purifying of the mind that comes from faith and love of the Buddha. Yes, perhaps it does purify. Saying iti piso at the moment of death just brings your mind to a beautiful place. Yes. And recollecting.
It might. Buddhism's a bit tough though. It doesn't redeem you forever. It might be if you had a good thought. It might be for that. But then the rest of what you've done is still going to come.
Yes. And maybe there is some truth to what Jesus said, that if you did believe in God, in that if you did turn your mind to some beautiful quality of the Buddha, of God, that uplifted mind will take you to a beautiful place. And that's fair enough. So it's not entirely silly. And you could be there for a long time, but it's not forever. You could be there for a long time because you reflected on those beautiful qualities. And you could also if you thought you were forgiven, you also let go of that burden that you had of all guilt and, feeling bad about yourself. Yeah. Possible, just not forever. Charlotte says, lots of comments about Aloka. Oh my God, he's really become famous. I think that's true about Aloka. He must have done something wrong to be reborn a dog. However, he accumulated good karma has enabling him to be Aloka. And Charlotte also says, I think that's true about Aloka. Oh no, Charlotte also says, would that go for all dogs? Because I think it was good karma that my guide dog was assigned to me. Oh, I don't know about all dogs. There are some dogs who are. There are some dogs who live like kings.
Better than us.
Better than us. They're just fed. They go for walks. Don't have to work. What?
It's asked whether you have experienced past lives.
Oh, have I experienced past lives? Uh, okay, let's just go. Let's go according to the questions. Okay, about dogs. We'll finish about dogs. I'm sorry, not all dogs, but I'm sure your good karma and the dog's good karma that you are together. That's wonderful. Yeah, yeah, wonderful. So yes, Ramani says if you keep the precepts, you'd have a good rebirth. Yeah, good. And since it says sila protects one, ethical conduct, absolutely. So yeah, the sila, your 5 precepts, not keeping your 5 precepts, is considered the doorway to hell. So when you break those 5 precepts, you're actually opening the doors to hell. Thank you for reminding us. Amy, is it okay to ask, if I have experienced past lives? Not really, but I have just a strong belief in it. Just a really, maybe because I'm a Buddhist, but I just, like Nilushi said, it just is logical. It's just so logical. Yeah, thank you. But no, I have not personally experienced my past life. But I can think, the fact that I'm a nun, I'm sure that comes from a past life. The fact that I wanted to be a nun, that I think it's a normal thing to do. It doesn't come from nowhere, I guess. Yeah. I remember seeing an ordination when I was 14 years old in New Zealand. There was the first ordination in New Zealand, and that was in 1987 or something like that. And I remember thinking, that is the most amazing thing I've ever seen. So, yeah, I guess not many 14-year-olds think that that's the most amazing thing they've ever seen. Yes, so Nilu says, does karma take into account conditioning? If not so intentional, so much, does karma take into account a conditioning? If not so intentional, so much as conditioned by one's environmental society, nervous system, or physical health even. Not so intentional, so much as conditioned by one's environment. So then, does karma take into account conditioning? Well, yes, I'm not sure exactly what you mean, but yes, your environment, your health, your nervous system will make you act in. Yes, Nilu, continue. Yeah.
Sorry, if you wanted me to clarify, yeah, exactly. That's right. Just it seems unfair if
Yeah.
you don't actually mean to do something, but there are factors like does karma kind of account for that? If it's you know.
If you have been dealt a bad hand.
I guess so. Like Ruini said, like there are conditions that cause the person to act in a certain way in certain situations, that is not their intention, or it just seems unfair that that isn't taken into account in terms of what you or the consequences of those karma. I don't know. Does that make sense?
I know, but it's actually true that karma is not fair. It's really, see, is not about niceness, right? This is not about some God creating the rules of the universe. But it's true that karma is really not fair. If you have been taught unintentionally bad habits by your parents, for example, because they were unethical people, and you're doing it simply because you don't know any different, those consequences come back to you. It's really, really, really awful. Yeah.
Mm.
It is part of your karma, but that's the scary thing. You don't know. It is your karma, but it also perpetuates. Perpetuates. Yeah, it's very sad. Um, hmm. Does that answer your question, Nilu, or?
Yeah, kind of. Thank you.
Kind of, yeah. But yeah, your conditioning, your health, all of that, it might affect your decision, and you will have to suffer the consequences.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
So it doesn't matter. Like, I just think, if there's somebody who really should know better, has all the agency in the world to make good choices, and, really does understand exactly what they're doing and does it out of, a particularly, as opposed to someone else doing maybe a similar action,
But out
but
of
because they're trying to feed their family and they steal a loaf of bread or whatever. You know what I mean? Like,
right,
I
right,
don't
right.
know.
I mean, this is it's karma is not black and white, and it's always gray. There's most of the things that we do are shades of gray. So
Yeah.
how much that gray is, we don't really know. Um, but yeah,
Mm.
intention is karma. So
Mm. But that can also be conditioned, right? But you're saying regardless, intention is karma,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, Sinsin says there are some very interesting past life stories and document. Did I miss one? No, yes, since there are some very interesting past life stories and documentaries, yes, online. A lot of Ian Stevenson is a scientist who, I think in the 60s, documented cases of past lives. And that's probably some of the most sort of scientifically rigorous documentation that Ian Stevenson's research. And a lot of them have been made into YouTube videos, which are nice to and fun to watch. And a lot of them are online. Yeah, thanks for sharing. I'll just continue with Sinsin's comment that there's one really good documentary called Surviving Death, and it shows accounts of past life recollections. Worth watching it. Thank you. Surviving Death. Yeah, thanks. And then TH says, I want to add to Nilu's question. If we acted based on our conditioning, inclinations, rather than conscious thoughts, then why does karma come back to us when it's not really our fault? Yeah. Our conditioning is conscious, it's conditioning, but it is a conscious, it's it's conscious in that you did it. Yeah. You acted out of ignorance because you didn't know any better. I don't know, is it better to be ignorant and do it and not ignorant and do it? Yes,
Is there a
good
quote
question.
from a Buddha in a sutta where it's like we can't try to understand karma because it's just too complicated?
Yeah, karma is complicated. Karma, you will never, the Buddha said, if you try to understand karma, you will definitely go mad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but what you can do is, to the best of your ability, do things with a good intention. So whatever we can do to, to that degree, do it well. Yeah. Yes, Simran says, second, there's a Netflix on advice from a monk. Yes. Oh my God, there's heaps of comments. Wow. Would this karma is intention? Yes, felt funnily. Karma is intention. Thank you. Karma is intention. So you might be ignorant, but if you're wanting to hurt somebody, it's still wanting to hurt somebody. Yeah.
Can I say put something in? I've heard it said that, this was, is it better to be not ignorant and do it, but not ignorant and do it, knowing that it is wrong, you do it. They say it is better not to be ignorant, because a person who is not ignorant, there's a chance that he will realize that this was not a right thing to do. And there's hope, there's a chance for him to do good things. But you do something out of ignorance, you do it again and again and again because you're ignorant. But you know it's not good, but you do it. There's a chance that you will realize. You realize, because you're not ignorant, you realize this is not a right thing to do. And there's hope of redemption.
Yeah. Yes. 5 minutes. Oh my goodness. Wow. Okay, so Charlotte says, oh my gosh. I think you have to read the comments. What shall we do? 5 minutes.
We can go a bit.
I think there's 2 questions here.
Why don't we do the questions?
Okay, what are the questions? Okay, the question is, as there is no one deciding who we become in the next life, what makes our conditions ripen into what being or realm? There's no one deciding, but it is just...
I'm sorry. This one.
What is it with the result of... yeah, so there's no one deciding. It is just the law of nature. It is just, karma is just the operation of it's a dharmata. That's how, it's like trees grow. You put nutrients, there's water, there's fertilizer, and a tree grows. In the same way, karma works in the same way. It's just a law of nature. There is no person behind it. Yes, then would disability be the result of karma, or is it the cards one is dealt with? Yeah, actually not everything is due to karma. It could also just be, once you are born, you are just going to become ill, grow old and die. The disability, just the fact that you're a human being, comes with a whole package of suffering. What is exactly karma? What is exactly because, just having a human condition, it's hard to tell. But maybe some extreme situations, you can't say it's a one-to-one thing either. You can't say I kicked someone, therefore my leg is disabled. It's not one-to-one. It's complex. But basically what karma tells you is that if you intentionally do something if you do something with a bad intention, that has consequences. So you can't say why you have a disability now, but you can say if you do something now, you are not creating good conditions for yourself. Yeah. Okay, so then Sinsin says the Buddha talked about black karma, white karma, black and white karma, neither black or white karma, etc. And not everything is due to karma. There are things related to nature disasters that are not due to karma. Exactly, yes. So just being born on this planet as a human being comes with problems. Full stop. Yes, Leonie, at a certain stage of development, we can choose to reconsider our conditioning. Yeah. And then Prem says, oh dear, this book, okay. Hardo Truths, Reincarnation, Jacob Publishing House, 2016. This has several true cases of children who have lived before. Thank you. Good one. Take note. Nilu, how do we become more aware of our intentions? Sometimes they are complex and unclear. Well, that's the whole practice, that we become more and more clear as our minds develop in samadhi. That's the whole point of samadhi. That's the whole point of meditation, that you become clearer and clearer about what all this stuff that is you're just you just, working on autopilot about. Yeah, so, samadhi. Leonie, I think it is where we are encouraged to keep polishing the mirror. I think this is where we are encouraged to keep polishing the mirror. Yes, absolutely. So we all agree the Noble Eightfold Paths culminating in samadhi is the way to go. All right.
And
Wow.
on that note, we're actually right on time, I think.
8:30.
Only 1 minute. Good job. Good job, Venerable. Doing the speed run at the end. Thank you so much for this really invigorating talk. That
Thank you,
reminds
everybody.
us of, sorry?
Yeah, thank you, everybody.
Yeah, thank you
everybody.
for the talk and everybody for your comments as well as questions. But especially it's such a good time to remind ourselves that it's really important to continually chipping away at the tree, polishing the mirror. As often in everyday life, we forget the importance of those things.
Yeah.
And this talk serves as such an important and always timely purpose of, reminding us we need to continue to practice. That this is not the only life we have. We have many lives potentially to come, and if we want to no longer be reborn, or if we want to go to a nicer place and not go to hell, we need to do that by practicing from moment to moment.
Yeah. And can I remind everyone that it is a useful reflection to do on a regular basis, to remind ourselves of the preciousness of this human birth, not to sort of remember it today and then forget it until someone reminds you in another month's time, but to make it as a part of your practice, how rare it is to be here as a human being, alive, healthy, able to hear the Dhamma. So, may I leave you with that as something to bring into your life.
Thank you, Ayya. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. And with that, we'll pay respects to Ayya to conclude the talk.
Thank you, Ayya.
Sadhu, sadhu. Sukhi hotu.
Thank you. And would you like to share things about Santi Monastery, what's going on there with everyone?
Yes. So everyone is welcome. In fact, this Sunday, the 12th? 12th. This Sunday, the 12th of April.
Yeah.
We have a day retreat, and Venerable Jnanaloka, for those of you who know Jnanaloka, he's a Sri Lankan monk and a very good meditator.
Oh, great.
And a very cool monk
is
going to be also part of that retreat. So if you would like to have a pretty extraordinary experience, 12th of April, we have a pretty amazing day retreat. And you are also on Saturdays, we have a morning meditation. What else? We have Santi Sundays in Parramatta for families. Every last Sunday of the month, we have a family program, children and parents, plus dinner. Also, yes, but you're welcome to Santi anytime to come and volunteer and help us with all kinds of fun jobs like chopping wood.
So fun, actually.
Yeah, so fun.
It's great.
Yes.
Yeah. Like actually just doing some manual things outside, out in the bush. It's really great way to spend
really
some
beautiful
time.
experience. In fact, that is therapy.
Yeah.
Never mind the meditation. Just come and chop wood.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, you can have a really terrible week, and then I think that's a really good way to refresh the mind and body.
Yes.
And also help out.
And help out, yeah.
And do you mind sharing a bit more about the monk? Like what kind of meditation does he teach? Or
Venerable Jnanaloka. So Venerable Jnanaloka he has a very interesting background. He's he been on walking across the Himalayas, around Mount Kailash 3 times. He's nearly died twice. He's a really strong meditator. I think he's been ordained since the age of 20 something with Venerable Jnana Vimala, who's a German monk who's also highly reputed. But he's just a very, very good practitioner and a good meditator. And yeah.
Amazing. Sadhu. Hope
Yeah.
you all can make it. I think they also have events on Friday night and Saturday sometime as well.
Friday night and
If you're
Saturday, yes.
interested. Yeah.
If you're interested, I guess.
I think they have registration forms that's been posted to Medicenter friends as well. So you can,
right.
Yeah, register as well.
Right.
Yeah, great. And for Medicenter side, we have, as you know, every Monday we have sessions online between 7 to 8:30. And those will be speakers from around the world from all traditions. And on Wednesdays we have speakers mostly almost always in person now, and it's in Parramatta here 7 to 8:30 as well as online. And we have yoga for free in Bankstown, Western Sydney University every Tuesday. That's between 6:30 to 7:30. And I think that's all for Medicenter. Yeah. Thanks everyone.
There is the one-day meditation retreat on the 18th of April, led by Venerable Tenzin. I've just posted it in the chat because so this based on the Satipatthana Sutta, but he was planning to lead the second one last year, but it's been postponed until this year. So the first one was on mindfulness of the body, Kaya Anupassana, but this one will be on Vedana Anupassana, which is based on mindfulness of feeling. So that's going to be in Concord. So register now as places are limited. So that's a one-day meditation retreat on the 18th of April, led by Venerable Tenzin. I think you met him, Venerable Upekkha, right? Yeah. Yes.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Sing Sing, as well, for the news, as well as for inviting all these amazing speakers. And if there's nothing further, we can maybe end the session and wish everybody have a lovely week. And we'll see you soon. Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Good night.